Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another recipe vlog. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make your own almond milk at home. It's actually pretty easy. It only takes like a small handful of ingredients, and it tastes really, really good, guys. Honestly, so much better than any store-bought version of almond milk that I've ever personally tried. Also, what I think the absolute best part about this is it doesn't contain any additives whatsoever. No emulsifiers, no gums, no thickeners, nothing. It is just pure natural almond milk the way it's supposed to be made, and it doesn't have anything added to it for shelf stability and consistency and all of that, which is my favorite part. So first things first, let me show you what you need. So the very first thing you're going to need is some almonds, and you're going to want to soak them overnight in some water. This right here is 1 cup of almonds. This is how many I like to use when I'm making almond milk. Makes a pretty decent amount. You're also going to need a couple of dates just to add a little bit of sweetness. This is optional. You can make it just plain with just the almonds and nothing to sweeten or flavor it, but I like to add a little bit of natural sweetness, so I'm going to be putting 2 pitted dates, meaning I'm just going to pop the pit out of the inside. So 2 dates, and then I'm also going to add probably about a teaspoon of maple syrup, again, just to add a little bit of sweetness. This is what I did last time I made it, and I mean, it was like just barely sweet. It was not like very sweet at all, just like the right amount of sweetness, I think. And then also I am going to add just a little tiny dash of cinnamon, not to make it like cinnamon flavored or anything, but I just did that last time and I really liked it. And then you'll also need some cheesecloth. This is what we're going to be using to like drain all of the chopped up almonds from the actual almond milk. And then of course you're going to need a food processor as well. But that is everything, and let's get started. Okay, so here is my food processor, and I have all of my ingredients over here. Over here you can see I have 2 cups of water. I'm going to be using a total of 4 cups of water. I really like the consistency of the almond milk with the 4 cups to every 1 cup of almonds ratio, so that's what I'm working with. But I'm actually going to be putting in all the ingredients kind of like a third of the batch at a time, because if I put like half of it, or especially all of everything in here at once, it's just going to fly out everywhere, all the liquid. Trust me, I learned that from experience the first time I made it. So I'm just going to put in about a third of the almonds, a third of the total water I'm going to be using, and then each batch I'm just going to add a little bit of cinnamon and sweeteners. So for 2 of the batches I'm going to add a date, and then for the last one I'll add in the teaspoon of maple syrup, and then I'll just kind of mix together when I put it all together at the end. So that's just kind of how I'm going to do it. Would you just look at this little babe hanging out. This is her favorite spot on the couch. Just thought I would show you guys, because I know you love a good Rosie cameo in the cooking vlog, so just wanted to let you say hi. She's pretty sleepy. See, this is what I do all day. I just relax. I swear, I don't think people believe me when I say she literally sleeps all day, because when she's around anyone else besides Matt and I, she's nuts. Alright, so I drained the excess water from my soaked almonds, and I'm going to add about a third of these into the food processor. And then I'm going to add about 1 1/3 cups of water. Got my dates right here. I already took the pits out. I'm going to add 1 date. And then I'm going to add a little bit of ground cinnamon, just a dash. Okay, so I let it run for about 1 minute and 45 seconds. And this is what it's looking like. Definitely really creamy, but you can obviously see that there's a lot of like pulp, I guess you would want to call that, almond pulp. So now we strain it and basically extract all of the yummy creamy almond milk in here and just separate it from all of the crushed up almonds. So this is where my basic batch really comes out to play, because I'm going to be using a mason jar. Alright, so in my sink here, I've got my little straining set up. I've just got a big mason jar, and I put a cheesecloth just right on top. So what I'll be doing is pouring the almond milk mixture from the food processor into here, letting it drain a little bit, and then I'm just going to be squeezing all of the almond milk out, and it's just going to collect in this jar, and then I'll just store it in the mason jar in my fridge. Okay, so this is what we're left with. I just put the first batch of almond milk liquid in here, and as you can see, I'll show you, there is our glorious almond milk in there. But we are left with a bunch of this kind of almond pulp on top. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just remove this hair tie. Rubber band would probably be a better idea, but I didn't have any. So I'm gonna remove the hair tie and just squeeze any excess almond milk that's kind of chilling in this almond pulp, and then I'm just going to take this and put it into a separate bowl. So you can just throw this out if you want, but this is so great actually to save. There are so many recipes online. You can check Pinterest or just Google it, but there are tons of recipes where you can actually utilize this leftover almond pulp and not just waste it. You can bake it to kind of completely dry it up and dehydrate it, and there's so many things you can do with it. People love to make crackers out of it. I actually think I'm going to try and make like little like protein balls with like nut butter and maybe some maple syrup, or I don't know. That's what I think I'm going to do, because you could just use it raw. You don't have to bake it, but I think that's what I'm going to try. But definitely don't throw this out, because it's a waste of almonds and it's something that you can use to make something also equally delicious. Alright, so now here is the first of our almond milk. Oh my god, it seriously smells so good. So now I'm just going to repeat those steps. I'm going to blend everything up, strain it again, and then squeeze all the excess liquid out. I'm just going to repeat the exact same thing I just did, and then for the third batch, instead of using a date, I'm going to use probably not even a whole teaspoon, but maybe like half a teaspoon or so of maple syrup. Alright guys, so here is our final product. Look at that glorious almond milk, so creamy, so delicious. The flavor is amazing, and honestly you can make it however you want. You could add vanilla extract if you want to make a vanilla almond milk. You could add absolutely nothing and just have unflavored, unsweetened if that's what you prefer. That way it's more versatile. Or, you know, you could add a lot of cinnamon and make cinnamon almond milk, or a lot more maple syrup and do more of a maple almond milk. I mean, there's just so many options. You can really do whatever you want with this, and honestly it's really easy and it's amazing, and it doesn't have any gross additives, nothing weird, no additives whatsoever. It is just almond milk in its glory. And look at this is like a lot of almond milk. So this should keep in the fridge for a few days, maybe like up to 4 days. You may want to double check me on that. So obviously it doesn't last a super long time, but honestly it's so good that it's gonna go quickly, trust me. Also, just a super random side note that has nothing to do with almond milk. If you're someone that doesn't really like to spend a whole lot of time in the kitchen, like it's not your thing, try listening to podcasts while you're cooking or making your own almond milk or whatever that is. I have like a little jam box right here, and right now I'm just listening to a podcast. I'm actually listening to Missing Richard Simmons. I just watched the first episode, so I just started, but like, where the hell is he, guys? Honestly, this is like such a crazy mystery. So I'm really excited to listen to the rest of the podcast and see, hopefully find out where he is, or at least get some more insight onto his like complete vanish into thin air. So that's crazy. But yeah, anyway, listening to podcasts, honestly, I love being in the kitchen just because I like listening to podcasts. It's so relaxing, it keeps me entertained, and I don't get bored. I was never the person who was like, oh, I could spend all day in the kitchen, but honestly, listening to podcasts totally changes the game. Whether you listen to it on a speaker or just from your phone, or you pop in some headphones, honestly, it's life-changing. And I know you guys are gonna ask my other favorite podcast that I always listen to. I love Lady Gang. I think it's hilarious. I love the Bitch Bible. I think she is so funny, like totally a bitch, obviously the Bitch Bible, but hilarious. I also like listening to The Skinny Confidential, him and her podcast. I just started listening to Up and Vanish, which is kind of like a serial type spin-off. Those are some of the ones that I've been listening to a lot recently, and then obviously the Richard Simmons one is really good too. But that is all I have for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed learning how to make your own homemade almond milk. Please let me know down in the comments below if you tried this yourself. I'm really excited for you guys to try this recipe. I think you're really gonna like it. But if you guys did enjoy this video, please, please, please give it a thumbs up for me because it really helps me out and it also lets me know that you guys like these videos and want to see more. And of course, if you're not following me on Instagram and Snapchat, I would love to hang out with you guys on those platforms as well. So make sure to follow me on there. And of course, if you have yet to subscribe, go ahead and subscribe so you can join my little family here on YouTube. I would love to have you. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.